Don't forget to check out the Sunset Lounge. Check out patreon.com/Sunset Lounge DFW. There you will find, among other things, Beer 30 Sports O'Clock. This is your favorite go-to for discussing craft beer and breweries, all things sports, but mainly college football. Ziggy is the host. He gives you real barbershop sports talk and gives you the tips you need before you lay down those bets. So check out Beer 30 Sports O'Clock and all the great stuff we have for you here at the Sunset Lounge.
Nobody would have thought that I would be the one. Rhyner, sports talk. Baseball, 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 baseball.
Oh, with the big mic. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, now I get it.
We had a lightning strike, boys. What happened over there, Grego? We had a little lightning strike right outside the window.
The Texas Rangers win the World Series.
All right. Here's a tip for all these Americano League teams.
Wait, you said tip?
Yeah, tip.
Okay.
With a P.
Keep jamming.
The ticket, colon, nothing but a big Gen X jerk-off sake.
This is a cool night or what?
Although somebody would hear that and go, bullshit.
I'm back, bitches.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait till next time for that. Hey, everybody. It's another episode of Your Dark Companion. Coming at you today, this is the 20th of August. We are live at 5 on Patreon today. I'd like to shout out all of you by the channel there. And for everyone who's going to be watching this later on down the line, no matter when, no matter where, anything like that, shout out to you too. It is Your Dark Companion. I'm Mike Rhyner. We are here inside the nurturing biosphere of the mothership today, and we're going to talk a little football because it is nigh upon us. We can't get out of it. The time to bypass it has long since passed us. We cannot do it. We are in. We are all in. We will be in till the end of the year at the very least, and probably a good bit later than that. And I can scarcely think of anybody better to talk football with than the guy who is in here today. He is Greg Tepper.
Wow.
Hi. How you doing?
Mr. Rhyner, it is a pleasure to be in the nurturing biosphere of the mothership.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
This is as a longtime fan and admirer of the Mike Rhyner experience, this is a real thrill.
Oh, you haven't seen the experience until you've been in here for this. How you doing? Everything
good.
all right?
I'm good. You know, it's all your intro is both exciting and terrifying because you're right. Football, there are real live football games starting a week from tomorrow.
Yes, there are.
And then it is a 5-month sprint.
Yeah.
And so it's getting to be busy time.
And on the one hand, I look at that and I'm very excited about it, very excited for it to be here. On the other hand, there's a part of me that goes, really? Already?
Yeah.
Is that I would imagine that's your experience with it too, because you live in it.
Yeah. I mean, this is, football and especially high school and college football across Texas is what we do at Dave Campbell's. And for us, this is you think about the season all year long. You're like, all right, can't wait for it to get here. Can't wait for it to get here. And then you look up and suddenly you're like, I should probably figure out what we're doing and probably figure out exactly how we're going to attack this because it's a big state and there's a lot of football out there and there's a lot of football fans out there to cater to. And, we're going to try to do our best to cater to them.
Now, how long have you been at Dave Campbell's Texas Football?
Let's see. I've been there since 2011, so 14, almost 15 years now.
I can't tell you. I can't put a number on how many years I've been reading or at least been aware of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, but I can tell you this. On the cover of the first issue that I ever bought is Scott Appleton.
Okay. So that is... Oh, you're going to test me. Oh, jeez. It's in the 70s sometime.
No, that's the 60s.
Of 60s. So, Scott Appleton, that might be 63.
Yeah, he was an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
For Texas.
For Texas. So Scott,
Yeah.
I think it was Scott Appleton. I think that might be 63. It's been a long time.
It hadn't been out that long. Like that was just the second or third year, something like that.
So we started in 1960. Dave Campbell, real person.
Yeah.
Not just
right. Not just a made up name.
Not like Chef Boyardee, you know. He the sport.
Well, Chef Boyardee is real too, though.
How do you know?
It's real to me, damn it.
I've seen videos.
But Dave Campbell, the sports editor of the Waco Tribune, had an idea because essentially his beloved Baylor Bears got left out of one of the national preview magazines. And he said, well, I'm not going to stand for that. And so he went to start a magazine about the Southwest Conference and about the schoolboy teams across the state of Texas. And so he did, and it was born on his kitchen table in 1960, and he lost $5,000 the first year. But then kind of something was born, and now it's one of those things where it's become such a touchstone in the football ecosystem in this state and such an integral part of it. And so for us at Dave Campbell's, like, our job is just to not screw it up.
Yeah.
You know, he set the foundation. We just have to make sure we're not ruining everything.
Scott Appleton, 1963. You nailed it.
Plotting the Executioner with Darrell Royal. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
See, it's masterful bon mots like that have put him where he is.
I literally just Googled.
That's why he's the shoopy.
Yes,
Scott
that's why.
Appleton, Dave Campbell, Texas football.
Okay, good. That's fine.
all I did.
Well,
Yeah.
we didn't do it.
But hey, like, it impressed the hell out of Norm enough to keep me around as an intern, so it still works.
And Scott Appleton was like something like a 240-pound offensive tackle, I believe. Mm-hmm. And
6'3", 260 apparently.
260?
Yeah.
Boy, in the 60s.
That was big.
That's big. That's no wonder he was on the cover. That's if you're that big, you can just be on the cover just for eating that much.
Like, he looks large on the cover.
Yeah, he does. Him and Darrell Roy's got the rolled up piece of paper, and he's pointing out and leading the charge, leading his boys in the battle in 1963.
And the thing about it back then was that if it was football and it was Texas, it was in the magazine. Mm-hmm. They did Southwest Conference. Mm-hmm. They did all the other colleges that were not in the Southwest Conference, like, I don't know, West Texas State.
Mm-hmm. Maybe A&M Kingsville.
Yeah, A&M Kingsville. If it was football and it was Texas, they covered it. But wait, they didn't just stop at college. I mean, I believe there was also an article or two on the Cowboys in there at the time, and the Houston Oilers. And then they got into high school, and nobody did high school football back then like Dave Campbell's Texas football.
Yeah, that's our bread and butter, right? Because it's the holistic version of it. And now that first edition in 1960, it had 566 or 576 teams. We're well over 1,500 now in the state of Texas, and we cover every one of them. And then the colleges, by the way, there's 49 college football teams in the state of Texas. It's not just the Texas Longhorns and the Texas A&M Aggies. It's the Southwestern Assemblies of God Lions, and it's the Trinity Valley Community College Cardinals. And we kind of cover it tip to tail, from rooter to tutor, if you will. It's if you will.
I will.
It's but it's a lot. But it's a labor of love, and the good thing is that in this state, this is the only state that this thing can happen.
Yeah.
There's not a Dave Campbell's California football or a Dave Campbell's Ohio football, because there's just not the breadth of I would say there's not just the breadth of teams, but also you don't have the kind of passion that's here in the
you
state.
don't have the kind of interest in it out
Exactly,
there.
right. Absolutely. And the complaints I get on a Friday night about saying something about a team it's just proof that people are paying attention and people care about the Meridian Yellow Jackets.
I one time called the Longview, whatever they are, I called them the Zebras, and
Lobos.
The Lobos, thank you. And I still get crap for it to today. And that was years ago.
Grandview's the Zebras.
Yeah,
thank
Grandview's
you.
the Zebras.
Correct.
Yeah, I said, the Longview Zebras with Matt Diggs and I one night.
Yeah.
And I still haven't lived it down.
Yeah, that's tough. That's you can't. When I first came out at Dave Campbell's, you want to talk about thrown into the fire. They said, "Hey, on Friday nights, we need you to go and co-host the Texas State Network's statewide radio show, where I was on KRLD here locally and then on the Texas State Networks with Roger Emmerich. And okay, scrub, why don't you get in there and be with one of the greatest broadcasters of all time? And it was one of the first shows, and we had a score from down on the coast, on the coastal bend, and it's the Refugio Bobcats, but it's with a G, and so I pronounce it Refugio on the air to a statewide audience. And Roger Emmerich, in one of the kindest moments that anybody's ever shown to a Cub reporter, was like, "Well, partner, that's Refugio, but it's okay. We're going to get there," and stuff like that. And it was so everybody starts
I would
somewhere.
expect nothing less.
It was the most gentle, like easing back on in between the lines here. Hey, buddy, it's okay. You went into the ditch, but we're all learning here. So
That has been the impressive thing, and I figure we'll get into it some of when you did start working with Fox Sports Southwest and doing the high school football shows there, like the ability you have apparently to name off any team, pretty much any player, without a whole lot of info on the shot sheet and stuff like that, from what I can tell, is very... It's always impressed me how quick you and Craigers have been able to pick up just all the players, all the names.
Our brains are broken in a very specific way.
I believe it.
And yeah, Craig Way is obviously a guy who's had an enormous impact on me. I mean, he's the king of Texas high school football, plain and simple. And
he joined us September 24th, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm just the warm up act then.
You are.
Yeah.
He is something special.
Oh, I've seen him in action before.
He's unbelievable, and the recall he has from games that he called 35 years ago. He'll tell you where he ate on the way to a game that he called 35 years ago. But he also has that kind of that knowledge base and that passion for high school football that, like, if you immerse yourself into it, the crazy thing is that, I've been asked before, oh, you want to go cover college, you want to go cover the NFL, you want to move up in the world. And part of me is like, well, why? Because, like, there's such a rich amount of stories and a rich amount of teams to cover here in the state of Texas.
It's not like here you're going to run out of stuff or anything.
It's endless. It's endless. And if there's, there's always going to be stories because there's 1,500 teams. And yeah, it may be that a team made the playoffs for the first time in 50-something years, which happened in Fort Worth Pascal last year. They made the playoffs for the first time and snapped one of the state's longest playoff droughts. That's just a great story. Yeah, did they win the state championship? No, but it means a lot to that community that they were able to do it. And people have that buy-in in their community that you don't necessarily get with the Tennessee Titans or or any of these teams.
So how did you come up to this position? I mean, what's your path been?
So I'm out of the Metroplex originally. I went to Coppell. And after high school, I went to the University of Missouri, studied journalism. I like to tell people I got the last newspaper journalism degree. They're just like, we don't need any more of these guys after this. That's fine. But bounced around a couple of places, worked at the Tulsa World, worked at the Dallas Morning News briefly for a couple of years. And then in 2011, position at Dave Campbell's came open. I applied and got hired on as associate editor. Kind of hung around for a couple of years. I'd always liked, in working at the Dallas Morning News, I'd loved high school football. So, hey, here's an opportunity to really immerse myself in it. After a couple of years, the gentleman who was the managing editor ahead of me left for another position, and my boss came. This was in July, a month before high school football starts. And the president of our company came to me and said, hey, we want to promote you to managing editor. And I said, well, that's great. And I want to let you promote me to managing editor. He goes, there is one small thing. We're going to need you to host a 4-hour live television show on statewide television every Friday night. Do you think you could do that? And I'm like, sure. Just say yes, and we'll figure it out from there.
Yep.
And that was my first time on television. Was going out there and doing that first Friday night show. I'd never trained for TV. I wanted to be Kevin Sherrington.
Yeah.
I want to be a columnist for the Dallas Morning News. That to me was the pinnacle of journalism. And so then suddenly I'm being thrown on the television for high school football. I figured it out, figured my way through it, and it's been a dream there on as far as the TV side, and then just growing what we've done at Dave Campbell's and keeping that thing rolling. It really is, the brand of Dave Campbell's resonates so much in the state that as long as you just keep the train on the tracks, like people want to be associated, people want to help out with it.
I mean, I can't imagine football in the state without it.
It is. We've told people that like that our magazine kind of starts football season when it shows up at Kroger or Brookshire's or HEB or Walmart. That's when football season starts.
That's a good way to put it.
And because you dig in and you want to see what do we think of the Texas Longhorns but then you also want to see, I want to see what they think of I went to Cleburne or something. I want to see what they think of Cleburne this year. Those types of things. It is a resource material. I think it's on the back of more toilets in Texas than any other publication, I would guess, because it's 400 pages. You
realize you just opened the gate for that, didn't you?
Listen. I'm well aware of his
all right, okay.
Don't you worry.
We've met before.
I do think we do get a lot of orders for Dave Campbell's from prisons, which makes sense because all you got is time and 400 pages. And, people say that, I love your magazine. I read it cover to cover. And I want to tell them, like, no, you don't. You don't read the index. You don't read this, that, or I would bet that there are some folks in Huntsville who maybe do read it cover to cover. We get a fair amount from the incarcerated or big fans of our magazine.
Man, it is, and it always has been, even in the Scott Appleton years, just a massive undertaking.
It is. And we've grown obviously with all the schools we have, and then with colleges, all the different conferences now they're aligned in. With Dave, when Dave was running the magazine, it obviously a lot of work. At least the colleges that they were covered were largely based in the Southwest Conference.
Yeah.
You go on the Southwest Conference tour, we'll go to Arkansas, we'll go to Rice, we'll go to all these teams. But they were all there. Now they're scattered across, I think, 6 different conferences, the 13 FBS teams, and not to mention all the Division II, the FCS Division II, Division III teams. And then there's high school. And with the high school, we start the process in about February. We send a questionnaire to every coach in the state. We get a lot of the nitty-gritty information like that. How many starters you have coming back on offense? What's the name of your quarterback? You think you're going to be better or worse than you were last year? A lot of that stuff. I like to follow up with a lot of them. But then it's just a matter of taking all that information, kind of synthesizing it, giving it to our writers who then write the team previews, and then stacking all the teams up and saying which of these teams we think are going to be best. And it's a lot. It's the putting together that magazine is a full at least 4 months of work, just grinding away every day on these little things.
There was a time when high school coaches were not terribly familiar with or cooperative with the media. Mm-hmm. That's changed quite a bit. Right?
Yeah. Coaches, I think, understand now that their high school, their programs are a brand unto themselves, right? And they want to promote their brand. So you see, some of the videos and stuff that these high school football teams are putting out there are outrageous, and the social media followings they have are outrageous. The graphic design they have is incredible. And these coaches now, I think they realize, hey, I'm promoting our team. I'm getting a little FaceTime myself, and they know that that's ultimately good for what they're doing. Now, look. It also helps, I think, that high school football coverage tends to skew pretty positive in the sense that, if Dak Prescott throws 4 interceptions, I know exactly what the Dallas Morning News is going to look like the next day. But if the quarterback at Coppell throws 4 interceptions, what's going to end up happening is saying that the Louisville defense stepped up in a big way and came up with big plays, right? Yeah. So it skews positive. And I think that now there's a little more, I think coaches understand that largely people who cover high school football are not out to make guys look bad. They're not out to run down kids especially. And they just, cover the sport in the way that is ultimately going to reflect pretty positively on their program.
But if someone thinks that you hate their team,
which
you absolutely do.
Yeah, they know what they did. You know what I mean? They've asked for it at this point.
They deserve it.
It is. Dave Campbell used to say he had been accused of being an alumnus of every school in the Southwest Conference, and I'm just trying to live up to that. You know,
You're trying to be an alumnus of all 1,500 high schools.
Oh, you must have went to. Yeah, you know, you're like, you must have went to Strake Jesuit. That's why.
Ooh.
That's why they're, you know, you're talking the way that you do. You must have gone to Conroe.
Refugio.
That's the one. If I'm glad that there's probably not tape of that. That was probably right, like 2011, 2012. It might exist somewhere, but I think might have.
I'm gonna find it.
We might have ducked it.
So, what is the hardest thing about putting out the magazine every year?
You know,
is it just the mass of the undertaking, or the massiveness of it all, or what?
I think that's part of it. The massiveness of it all is a lot, because there's a lot of, it's essentially a collection of 10 million little things to put together and make sure they're in the order. And at this point, this was my 15th summer magazine. And so we've got a process down that I feel pretty good about, and we've got a staff that I really love, that they do good work and I trust them. But there is still just a ton of work to do. And look, we send out the questionnaire to every coach. We got to get a questionnaire back from every coach. And so, you know, 95% of those coaches may need a little extra prodding at the end, but we're going to get them. There are 5% that there's a little pulling teeth to get it. It's also, you know,
but for the most part, they're pretty good about it.
Yeah, overwhelmingly, coaches are willing and excited to send in information because they know it's going to be to the benefit of their program. You know, there's some there's pulling teeth. There's also just covering the comings and goings of all things football, whether it's coaching changes in the high school ranks. There were more than 220 something in high school football in this offseason. Coaching, you know, programs that'll have new coaches.
Wow.
There's also at the college ranks, the transfer portal has made things remarkably difficult to keep track of, simply because, you know, the guys can enter the portal essentially whenever. And then you've got to rewrite your entire preview, you know, those types of things. We actually pushed our press date back about 10 days this year just to give us a little bit more wiggle room, because we want to move it behind or after move-in day for these colleges. Because if you show up on campus, you're probably going to suit up on Saturday, but we wanted to move it back because we're trying to track all those things. It's just keeping as tight a grip as you can on a really big, unwieldy thing like high school football and like college football in Texas.
Is there in the high school ranks something akin to the transfer portal?
No. There are players who will move around, and the official UIL rule is that you cannot transfer for athletic purposes. Now, that doesn't stop people from transferring for any number of other reasons that are not necessarily athletic purposes. Now, there are the moves around the state that are entirely innocent, which is that star quarterback Michael Gruber.
Thank you.
His family moves from Dallas and they move to Waco. Okay. He's going to play at Waco. He's not moving for athletic purposes. He's moving because his dad got a job. But then there's various other sundry reasons that players may move that, you know, they say, well, we're doing it for this, or I'm going to live with uncle. I'm going to do this. There are certainly some players that are moving around and they're playing a little fast and loose with the rules. The UIL tries as best they can to keep it, but they keep it under control as much as they can. But there's also, you know, you kind of got to take guys' words at some point. You got to take your guys' word for it.
I would say now more than ever, there's only so much the UIL can do.
Absolutely, and it all starts. I think one of the common misconceptions, it's all local control. That if Michael Gruber is moving from Dallas to Waco, and the coach of the team he's leaving suspects that he's leaving for athletic purposes, he can mark a form that will start a hearing and stuff like that. If the coach doesn't mark that form, it's good. Like the coach that he's leaving is ultimately going to be on able to sign off on that. The UIL doesn't get involved until it gets escalated to them in a situation like that.
Do most coaches seem to find that more trouble than it's worth, or
I think there's part of that. I think there is also, I think some coaches would view it as kind of an honor code thing of just like, hey, we're going to be cool. I'm not gonna, because there may come a time. There may come a time where a player moves to me, and I don't want you to raise the flag on me. And so there's a certain level of like, camaraderie among coaches. Be like, hey, let's all be cool.
Yeah,
we're not gonna go out there and snitch on anybody in that instance. So there is a certain level of like politicking behind the scenes, I think, that goes on with high school football coaches. But I also think that this is less than a half of 1% of players and stuff that things are like that. There's some high profile ones that'll happen every year, but that's something. One thing that you are seeing more and more, you are seeing players leave the state because there are NIL opportunities outside the state. There are a couple of players, high profile players, who have left the state just this offseason. To move to elsewhere that they may have opportunities to cash in on name, image, and likeness. In the state of Texas right now, you cannot profit on your name, image, and likeness if you're a high school player.
How many are going to IMG?
So that was, IMG Academy in Florida was a, boy, now I'm feeling old. It was probably like 12, 13 years ago it started. Like and there was a real panic in Texas high school football because a couple of big-time players went to IMG. And there's still a handful every year, 2 to 3. There was a big campaign kind of launched by the Texas High School Coaches Association and by the UIL to like keep kids at home and just make sure that was that they wanted that to be the better option for them. I think that died down a little bit, but
it's usually just basketball players, but
a lot of basketball. Football's kind of died off a little bit. There'll still be one or two every once in a while, but it's not as widespread necessarily as I think was originally feared. I think the big fear back in like 2013 when it was first cropping up was, oh my gosh, they're going to come in and they're going to get the 10 best players every year from Texas and bring them to Florida and build this.
They don't want to play against each other at that point in time.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Or play with each other, they don't play against each other.
And I also think, now this is me being a homer here, I think you want to play Texas high school football. I think you look around other places and you're like, okay, would you like to play at Prosper or at Allen or McKinney or some of these giant stadiums?
Has a really weird schedule.
Yeah, or would you like to go play, a bunch of teams you've never heard of in front of almost nobody, and for what? So you can get recruited a little bit more than you would have. I think the biggest thing is that, I don't want to speak for players who have gone to IMG. But I think that at least part of it is, I can get more exposure by going to IMG Academy or a program like that.
I was going to say, I think it's always been the training aspect of it, just because you're going for the training, you're not going for the schooling.
Yeah.
But I know it's really big in the basketball scene, and we did a couple of stories at Sports Starts Tomorrow about a couple of football players, but not typically from Texas. And
I think that there is now, the recruiting world is now widespread enough that you'll get noticed. If you can play, it's hard to hide now. In the age of in the era of the internet, if you can play, you'll get noticed. And I think that's kind of won out more and probably kept from high school football a mass exodus to these other programs.
What kind of guy is a high school coach these days? Have you noticed a significant change over the years in the type of personality that gets drawn into the game?
It is. There's a few different kinds, and obviously there's 1,500 of them. But one of the things is, I think right now you are getting this influx of like the next generation of coaches. You've got a number of coaches who are under 40, even under 30, who are now head football coaches. And these are guys who have been watching coaches their entire lives, and they are really squared away. Like they're media trained. They understand, they talk a lot about big picture. They talk a lot about culture. They talk about those types of things.
Right.
And then you've also got these guys who are, I don't want to put this, X's and O's wizards.
Right.
And they are, because there is a real trickle up effect, I think, of schemes that I think a lot of stuff, the spread offense essentially started in high school football with Art Briles and the spread at Stephenville. It started in high school football and it trickled its way up. And so you see coaches in the high school ranks who are willing to be a little bit weird and willing to be a little bit experimental and try things. But I think that you have this new generation of coaches who are very sharp. They grew up online in a lot of ways. They have been watching film for a lot of their life. They are football geeks, right? They love the game, and now they get an opportunity to go out there and build that program the way that they want. You've still got you've still got the old school guys. You've still got the rough and tumble,
my way or the highway
guys. But I think more and more you're seeing guys who have grown up just watching so much and understanding what they want and thinking what they want their programs to look like, and now they get an opportunity to implement it. The great thing about high school football, you got wild ass stuff going on as far as schemes is concerned. Okay, you've got teams that won't punt, that will onside kick every play. You've got teams that'll run the ball. They're still running old school offenses like the wing tee and the slot tee and the pistol option offense. And then you've also got guys who are like, we're going to get 5 wide, we're going to stretch the field, and we're going to run the craziest stuff you've ever seen and everything in between. And so high school football is in a lot of ways a playground for that kind of stuff because the stakes are lower than in college. You're probably not going to get fired if the play doesn't work.
Sure.
You might hear about it at the diner on Saturday morning, but you're not going to get fired. And also, you are playing, the quality of play in the state of Texas and the quality of coaching is so high that, like, if you can make it here, you can make it other places. There's a reason Joey McGuire at Texas Tech and was a former state champion at Cedar Hill.
Right.
Jeff Traylor at UTSA, former state champion at Gilmer. G.J. Kinney was a really, really good quarterback when he was out at Gilmer as well as Canton out there in East Texas. These Texas high school football guys who are like coaches or coaches' kids in the high school ranks, it trickles up, and I think people are catching on that these guys know what they're doing, and that kind of being willing to take a little bit of a risk, I think, gives them a little upward mobility that other coaches in other times of our history may not have had.
This is Greg Tepper. He is the editor-in-chief of...
I just like this little eyebrow raise, like, what's up?
It's like, yeah, it is me.
It's Tep.
I mean, did I not get that right?
No, you nailed it.
Okay.
No, you were great.
All right, take 2 and 3, 2, 1.
We're so live, it's not even funny.
Okay. You be your live, I'll be mine, okay? This is Greg Tepper, the editor-in-chief of Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
He does this just to irritate me. I know it.
And it works.
Every time.
It works.
Every time.
And you know what else? It's time for the dreaded and feared mid-show read.
Prepare yourself.
It's a highlight of every episode of Your Dark Companion.
Besides the interview portion.
Just sit there in awe of what you're about to see here.
This is a master of his craft.
Because this is what put me where I am.
No, it's not.
Let's talk about you and the pain that you were in. And what if I told you you could free yourself from this pain that you walk around with, this anxiety that you have, the sleepless nights, the discomfort of just existing and being you? And what if I told you you could do it naturally? Well, let me tell you about the CBD House of Healing, because they can make all of this and so very much more happen. They are a women-owned CBD boutique. They can help. They would like to help. They carry only products from their lab made to meet the highest quality and purity standards. Their owner, also an RN, emphasizes building trusted relationships through education. In other words, they're going to give you knowledge to care for yourself. That's their ultimate goal. If you go in there and tell them that something's hurting, that you got a pain in your back or a pain in your neck or anything like that, they're not just going to chew their gum and walk around behind the counter and give you a couple of gummy bears and tell you to go on your way. No. It's not the way they roll. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to find out what's going on, and they are going to figure out something that they think will work for you. And you know what? There's a greater than zero chance that it will. How do I know? Because it did for me. Not too long ago, I had a pinched nerve in my neck. I went to them, and they gave me something that made it better. And now these days, it's really not bothering me at all. Giving you knowledge to care for yourself is their ultimate goal. Find your relief from the aches and pains, the emotional stress and drain, and sleep again. Find them at cbddallas.com. They're at 8550 Plano Road, Suite 101 in Dallas, at the northeast quadrant of the burgeoning intersection of Plano Road and Northwest Highway. Begin your healing at the House of Healing. Is that all for right now?
No, we got one more.
You're halfway through, baby.
Okay. Here's spot number 2 in 3, 2, 1. Thursday, the 28th of August, is Rough Riders Fantasy Football Draft Night. And YDC and the whole Sunset Lounge gang is going to be out there holding their draft party. You can catch our draft live at 3:30 and then come on out to the game. Use our special code, Let's Ride 25. Get a ticket preloaded with $6 good toward your first Thirsty Thursday drink or at concessions. And remember, every Thursday, the Lazy River is 21 and up. So come out there on that night and hang with your pals here at YDC. That's it?
Yeah, but I actually have a question. You said the reeds were what got you to where you are. I thought it was measuring boobs.
A little of both.
Let me just tell you, because not everybody gets to sit in this chair and watch that happen. As somebody who has heard Mike Rhyner do 20 years of live reads, let me tell you, electric. It's an electric factory in here. You can feel the current going through.
You can feel it in your plums.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't going to say it, but yes, I can feel it in my plums. Remarkable. I can see why, you know.
That's what made me me.
I'm telling you. That's it.
Doing
feel
live
that little
spots.
Shiver at the end of it, like, ooh.
You do. You feel it around here, like the air changed.
We feel
in
his
here.
power.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I can't believe, like, I'm just glad that you, after all this time, still appreciate.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, watching Barry Bonds take batting practice. You know what I mean?
It's like the first time every time.
All right, I suppose we've got to talk about this.
No, that's
Although,
words.
what?
What? Huh? No. Talk about what? You grabbed your dial. We're done.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know that. I know that. I'm just trying to make it be still. That's all.
I'll fix it.
Okay.
We're talking about the prompter, by the way.
The what?
Yeah, the prompter. Yeah, that.
Not something else.
There's a prompter?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought he did that.
Now you think a whole lot less of it, don't you?
No.
He couldn't see the word scrolling.
Still amazing.
All right. So
He scared me.
given
Mike.
all this, given this massive business that is high school football here in the state of Texas, who's going to be good this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of depends on the great thing is that because they hand out 12 state championships there at AT&T Stadium in December. At the you can kind of go every which way, and it really is, you can choose your own flavor of what you want. If you want small school football and you want to talk and you want to go out to like a small town on a Friday night and watch some good football, drive up to Munster. Munster, the Hornets, the defending state champs in 2A Division II, have one of the best quarterbacks in the state in Cason Carney, the coach's kid, who led them to a state championship over Shiner last year. That's real small school football. You can get that. You also, by being in Virtue in here in the bustling Metroplex, you can go to 6A. South Lake Carroll is going to be really good this year. They've got 19 starters back from last year's team. Their coach, Riley Dodge, who is a Carroll legend himself, led them to a state championship as a player. The son of Todd Dodge, the legendary head coach, who's now the coach at Lovejoy. They're going to be excellent. They have a Ohio State commit at wide receiver in Brock Boyd, an incredible quarterback in Angelo Renda. They are loaded defensively. They look really, really good. North Crowley, here in the DFW Metroplex as well, the reigning 6A Division I state champs. It's the largest classification. Hit hard by graduation. They sent, I think, 8 different players to FBS schools last year, which is insane, including Quentin Gibson, who was the all-everything receiver who went off to Colorado. They may be in a little bit of a rebuild, but they've got plenty of big-time playmakers, and their coach, Ray Gates, is one of the best out there. Duncanville will be really good again. They graduate heavy. It's not many high school football teams in America that can say that they sent a quarterback to Alabama and a receiver to Oregon, but that's what they did last year. They need to figure out exactly what they're going to look like offensively, but they got great defense led by KJ Ford. They'll be excellent there. At the 5A level, Alito's going to be good again, per usual. Always a factory. Well, Robbie Jones has continued that out there. They will be excellent. So will, I think, Denton Ryan at the 5A Division I level. South Oak Cliff, you're a product of Dallas ISD. You're a Kimball man. Mm-hmm. This is South Oak Cliff has been in 4 consecutive state championship games. Like that is insane for a Dallas ISD school. They've been to 4 straight state championship games. They can make it a 5th again this year. They're going to be really, really good again. Their defense is going to be one of the best in 5A Division II. They're going to be excellent. And then you can trickle on down. Salina here in the DFW Metroplex, the number 1 team in 4A Division I. Mm-hmm. They have an Oklahoma committed quarterback in Bo Bentley, who is box office. He is remarkable. It's also one of the final years, I think. They're actually on the secondary cover of the magazine. The growth out there in Salina is outrageous. They just passed a $2 billion bond to build another high school and to build a ton of infrastructure out there. It's one of the fastest growing cities in America. And so their time as a one-school town may be coming to an end. And so this is kind of their golden hour where they've got one last real good run at it, at least this year. They're going to be excellent. 3A Division II, you've got the 3-time defending state champs up the road in Gunner. They are going to be exceptional. They run one of the most fun offenses in Texas, like a pistol option, where it's just impossible to defend in a lot of ways. A lot of fun out there. So it really depends on what level you're looking for. You can also, Mike, you ever been to a 6-man football game?
As a matter of fact, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. 6-man football. Around it's you got to get out, as you know, you got to get to the nether regions
right.
to find it's real small school football. But 6-man football is wild. If you can find a game around here, it's worth your time.
I mean, it's the closest thing there is to getting your friends on the lawn of the high school and playing all pass. You know,
it is wild. Like when you watch really high level 6-man football, they are like. Because the funny thing is, like, you think about the offense, and obviously there's you got games getting in the hundreds sometimes in 6-man football, but also the tackling, because there's so much open space. I mean, they're basically just like roping cattle out there and stuff like that to sling them to the ground. It's fun to watch. So, there's good football at every level around here. That's the good thing about living in DFW is that you never have to worry that there's going to be good football around on a Friday night.
Now I'm in awe of him.
I'm telling you.
Because all of that just came to him easily as easily as, I don't know, reciting the Pledge of Allegiance or something like that.
Like I said, this is the Tepper that I've gotten to see the last, since 2012, working most of the high school football broadcasts at Fox, Bally, whatever you want to call them now. Like, he just knows this stuff.
And the only other guy I've ever seen, the only other guy I've ever seen that was able to do it like that is Craig Way.
Well,
it's insane.
Well, I take that as a high compliment.
You should
because he's the GOAT, and but you get us two together, and it's a problem. It's a nerd off between us. You know what I mean? Because he's.
I'll bet it's amazing.
Well, and it's fun because I remember the first time I met Craig. Like, they say, don't meet your heroes. You know what I mean? But it's like being friends with your hero is awesome. Like, it's really cool. Like, I gotta be honest, if you can do it, you should do it. Because he just has that passion for it too, and he knows it inside and out. Which is, I just gotta keep up with him. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do. It's like a nice competition between the two of us.
Well, man, it's amazing what you do.
Thank you.
What both of you guys do. Is there anything else about the season we need to know about? Any new rules or anything like that coming down?
You know, for the first time, there will be the players will be able to wear like wearables, so they'll be able to have like a watch on for the quarterback. He may be able to look at the play call in there. That's one thing that we're keeping an eye on and how it's going to look. And then next year,
like an electronic watch,
yeah, like an electronic
Like an
watch.
Apple Watch?
That they'll be like an Apple Watch type thing, like wearable technology that coaches can signal in the play call on their technology now, which is something that's going to be new. And
I was just imagining like the beating of like, you know, they log in too many times and then they have to remember their passcode.
Like, jeez.
Like, gosh
Yeah.
darn it.
Oh man. Is it 1478
Yeah.
or what? Your
Blue 42,
birthday? How am I supposed to
12?
remember your birthday?
Yeah.
Between that and then next February, I'll skip ahead a little bit. Next February is a big day. It's every 2 years the UIL shifts up the districts, UIL realignment, and they redo everything. And that's when you could see some teams moving up classifications, moving down. We're keeping an eye on teams like Aledo, which has been a long time 5A powerhouse. This might be the year they move up to 6A, which would be very, very big news. So those are some of the things that we're keeping an eye on as there's more than 8,000 football games that kick off starting next week.
Are we getting a 7A district soon?
So Class 7A is on the tip of everybody's tongue. Everyone talking with folks at the UIL, I don't think it's imminent, because one of the things about that is I think everybody looks at a school like Allen and they say, okay, they've got almost 7,000 students in their school. How are they playing with a team against a team with 2,500 students in their school? And that point is well taken. But if you were to split off another classification, you run into some big problems from travel perspective, because a lot of these teams are in DFW in Houston, maybe one in Austin. I think there's one in Waco, and then also Odessa Permian, and they are not near any other team their size.
Yeah.
And so you run into these travel problems where it's like, okay, well, are you going to put Odessa Permian in a district with Plano East?
Wait, but they already do stuff like that with the schools out west.
Yeah.
Like the Weatherford Alita or
Yeah.
Weatherford Keller district.
Yeah.
Like Saginaw, they send them out to Abilene and to Odessa,
Sometimes they do.
depending on what realignment looks
Exactly right. Depending
What
on
about in West Texas? Don't some of those schools have
No,
like
they
a
all
pretty
hang out.
long trip every night,
They all
every
hang out
week, every time
together.
they go on the road?
Some of them do. Some of them are driving 200 miles for a district game. You know, and I think I think what the UIL wants to do is make sure they don't exacerbate that problem beyond what it is
was
already.
Tyler in with
Yeah, they're in with
Longview?
They're in a
and
DFW
Denton
district.
and that one, yeah.
They're in a DFW district. And so yeah,
It's been a long time, y'all.
it's not going to be. You're doing this is impressive.
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
There for a while, I could do this pretty easy.
Right?
I can't anymore.
Your brain gets broken in a very specific way, and like it's like an illness you attract, and then like suddenly you just have all this high school football knowledge.
There's
and,
not as many in mine as yours. Only DFW and Houston. That's the only two we had to worry about.
That's most of them though.
Man,
That's most of them.
Man, you and Craig Way are very specific people.
Yeah. What like my job is one of one. You know, we were talking about how there's no Dave Campbell's California football. There's basically nobody else in the world who gets paid to, you know, think about high school football year round and do that kind of stuff. And it's fun. It's wild. Is
there not anything like it in Pennsylvania? That's supposed to be a pretty
Totally.
high school
Hershey.
football hotbed.
The Kisses.
There's good talent up there, but like it's not the same. You actually had, I think you had Rick Renner in this scene.
Yeah, we did.
The great Rick Renner.
Yes, the great Rick Renner.
I will just say this to anybody who will listen. Rick Renner, your immediate thought is it's an act, right? Oh, this is a lie. And I thought the same thing. I mean this is a high compliment. Rick Renner might be the most genuine person I've ever met. Like that's just who he is.
Yeah.
And
I remember when Rick first came into the market and I saw him on TV for the first time, I thought, man, is this what this is turning into? Is this where it's all going? And then over time, and I was so off-put by him that this took a lot of time, but over time, I did get to know him. And yes, he is. I mean, he is, number one, he's a great guy.
Great dude.
Number two, he's real. You know?
And
there's nothing about him that's an act.
Yeah, and the work ethic and everything, I think, just thinking about all the, especially during football season.
Yes.
The stuff that he was doing Friday nights, he was still doing Spurs. He was maybe still finishing up Ranger season. The player of the week, all these other little tapings that we were doing throughout the week. Just the dude worked.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you see him doing, he's into it.
He's in full
He is all
go.
in.
Yes.
Absolutely. And when he was doing high school football with us at Fox, I mean, he was way into it and really into the high school football side of it. And I think he really relished the stories you get to tell, because this doesn't happen in other sports. You know what I mean? And it's one of his favorite things is talking about how, like, you look at the attendance for the Florida State Championship games, and like the combined attendance is less than one of the games. Like, they'll put close to 250,000 people at AT&T Stadium for state. Guys, that's not normal. That doesn't happen in California.
It doesn't happen everywhere.
No, and you'll go out to a Friday night in one of these big mega stadiums, and there'll just be 9,000 people at a game, and like, I think growing up in Texas, you might take it for granted, and then you go somewhere else, you're like, oh, where is everybody? Like, why? I thought it was Friday night. But that's what makes it fun. Like, people are into it. I wouldn't do it if people weren't into it.
Texas high school football is king in Texas. Like, you can say the Cowboys, you can say everything else, but it's Texas high school football. It's what pays the bills for a lot of people. At Inside High School Sports, I mean, that's what they capitalized on 37 years ago, and I mean, they're still making money on it today. And there are. I think that's one of the other things you mentioned. Inside High School Sports, there are so many great outlets like that are doing great work to help elevate the sport. Well, and I'll say this, and it's a credit to y'all too, but like the talent, the people who actually do high school sports in Texas genuinely do love it and care about it. Like, you guys. Neil Beasley, Ted Madden. I mean, my guys at Inside High School Sports, like, there's Kenny and all these other people who it might not be their full-time job. Like Matt Diggs, it's not his full-time job. He's a professor, but he loves it so much that he spends all of his extra time doing it. Like, it's a passion for people, and it's crazy.
And the high school football assignment is not like, you're not slumming it.
Right.
Like,
wait. It depends on where you go.
Well, to be fair. But overall,
you hang out with me, you're slumming it, but that's fine. It is, but your point's well taken. Like, I've been in this industry, I think, long enough that I can sniff out if somebody's in it for a paycheck. And hey, I'm in favor of people getting paid, plain and simple. But like, the folks who stick around and the folks who have done this for a while, like, you can tell, it's like, oh, this is great, this is fun, and it shines through in their work, and they give it the seriousness that it matters, because you can only talk about the Cowboys for so long. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
If anybody knows what I mean, it's you.
It's me. All right, and we'll wrap things up, but I want to hit you with this. Sure.
Ask him who his favorite coach is.
What?
Ask him who his favorite coach is.
I cannot answer that.
Damn you.
Sorry.
That's putting him on the spot.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
I can't do that.
What is the one thing about high school football that you're going to be looking at this year more than anything else?
I am going to be looking at whether or not there is more regional balance as far as the top end is concerned. So last year, there at the 6A and 5A level, there were 4 state champions. North Crowley out of the DFW Metroplex. There was Austin Vandegrift out of the Austin area. In 5A Division 1 was Smithson Valley out of San Antonio. And then in 5A Division 2 was Richmond Randall out of the Houston area. So all 4 major metro areas in the state were represented as far as champions are concerned.
Which isn't normal.
That's pretty rare, yeah. Because normally it's a DFW year, and there's a lot of great talent in DFW or DFW and Houston. Is that a sign of the future? Are we spreading the talent out more where you can get these state champions elsewhere, right? One of the best games in state championship history was back in 2018. Longview played Beaumont Westbrook. In 6A, 2 non-major metro areas teams coming to town. Let me tell you, that crowd was wild. That was one of the wildest crowds we've had at a state championship game. Can we kind of capture that? Yeah. Or is it going to be more Metroplex heavy? Or is it going to be really big year for Houston? Those tend to be the areas that dominate. And so I'm interested to see, is there more kind of spreading the wealth around the state like we had last year? That's one thing I'm keeping an eye on. Well, thank you for doing this, man. It's really been great having you in here, and
Man, I got to tell you, you got me fired up for this.
Can I tell
did.
you? One part of my job is to get people into high school football because, like, I get it. There's a lot of options you have on a Friday night. My challenge to your listeners: just find a game on a Friday night. Just go out there, hang out. It's cheap to get into. Go buy a hot dog and support the band, right? You know, hang out, get a halftime show, and you'll see some good football. We're spoiled around here. We
Or
got good
just
football.
turn on your TV because CW has a game out on Thursdays. There's games on
There's
Fridays and Saturdays.
So
now
many
too.
games you can watch streaming elsewhere. Like
Now that UIL can stream, almost everybody has one.
the world is getting smaller and it's easier to watch games. So if give high school football a try. If you think like I'm not into that, I promise you it's fun. It's wild ass. It's a lot of fun.
Crazy.
And I was going to say,
I love having guys in here who are into what they're doing.
oh, he's into it.
I am into it.
And I was going to say, I believe, I'm not going to make you spill the beans on anything, but I believe that we're the last media outlet that you're going to be on before announcing some
That's
TV
right.
news.
That's right. There's some broadcast news coming down the pike.
Where you did acknowledge that you won't be with Fox/Bally/FanDuel because pretty much nothing is anymore.
It was so funny because I put out some tweet. I was like, hey, my
I
time
didn't
at
know that wasn't news yet.
my time at Bally, FanDuel, Fox has come to an end. I was there for 11 years. Great years. Love the people up there. But like, people were like, oh my gosh, they finally fired Tepper. They finally got my letters. And I just had to feel no, like they're not doing high school football anymore.
Yeah, there's the studios literally are barren.
Yeah. So
like I was there working a couple high school football games in December and January. Like in the studios, no. Like they still carry, I think, some stuff. Like I think they still have
Thunder, maybe
the Thunder and the Spurs.
Do they have like a master control operation in there, and that's it?
Like literally in the Las Colinas building, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Remember when we all
They're not
used
doing it. Who is?
We can't tell
Like
you.
it's all
there's some news coming down the pike.
Yeah.
I will tell you the state championship games are going to be on Victory Plus. They announced that, so the state championship games are going to be there. And then Dave Campbell's will have some good stuff to announce on TexasFootball.com if I can buzz the lens.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm in the know because I know what's going on.
Oh.
I spoke to Rudy the other day.
My good friend Rudy.
I love him.
Yeah.
He was at TCU when I was at TCU.
He is, yeah. He's a horn frog.
Yeah, I was like, oh hey, yada yada, and he told me, and now I feel like an insider.
you know more than I
Well,
do.
we've got a whole announcement tomorrow, so
Yeah.
tune in to TexasFootball.com tomorrow, and
There we go.
you can know what she knows.
Yes.
Yes, you can also know what Greg Tepper knows. No, you can't because he knows too much. You will never know that much about anything.
No.
Thanks for doing this, man. Really nice to talk to you and really admire your work.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you welcoming into the biosphere.
He is Greg Tepper. Now, remember, you can find all by the channel on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can help others find us by leaving a review. So do that to us. You will help us keep little YDC afloat for as long as we possibly can. This has been another episode. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.
All right. I'm gonna go take my pants off.
Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.